And it's now time, I believe, for our final panel of this particular block. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. We're going to be talking about the backdrop to what we just discussed now, which is, of course, prosperity and how to ensure that. We're going to be tackling that subject of the economy and when it will start to gain some momentum. Obviously, Europe has been rocked by so many different crises. We just heard Lydia Pereira refer to some of them. One of them, of course, is COVID over the last few years, then an energy price spike, which has been caused, obviously, by the onset of war in Ukraine 2 years ago, not to mention curtailed trade, thanks to the problems that the Middle East is facing these days, and attacks on ships traversing the Red Sea. The economy is getting back on its feet. According to the European Commission's latest winter forecast, it is set to grow this year, but only sort of anemically. And although the labour market has been holding up steady, to some economists' surprises, they've said inflation has come right down from sky-high levels. Food price inflation and energy inflation still remains something that needs to be tackled. So let's bring in our panel of guests. Ivan ŠTEFANEC, who's the president of SME Europe. Please join us on stage, sir. Denis Radko is the president of the EUCDW. Thank you very much. Greet you. Hello. And also Rozalia, BIRO, who is the president of EPP Women. Hello. Guten Tag. Thanks very much. Hi. Hello. Thank you, madam. Please sit. Let's start. Ivan, thank you very much. Let's start with you from the small and medium-sized enterprises perspective. We keep hearing that obviously businesses need a clear economic trajectory to make big investments, and it's sort of a chicken and egg scenario we face at the moment, isn't it, where the economy is stuttering back into life. Some knotty economic problems, yes, have been tackled in a quick speed, but when it comes to investment to get those long-term jobs, what do you think is going to unlock it, given the current economic prospects?
I believe that we have to unlock this potential of SMEs because Europe is based on the success of small and medium entrepreneurs. They create more than 100 million jobs. They create more than half of our domestic product in Europe. And I'm happy to recognize that we, our family, EPP family, we are the party of SMEs. We do support SMEs. So if we talk about right policies, how to go ahead, how to unlock this potential, I do believe that we have to talk about 3 levels. First one is just to reduce bureaucracy, because many SMEs, they complain about bureaucracy a lot. So we have to tackle bureaucracy. Secondly, we have to improve the access to capital and other financial sources. And thirdly, we have to support our SMEs in the area of education. They need more skills, because current situation is that they have new ideas. Maybe they have also some sources, but they do not have enough qualified people. So how to go ahead in terms of tackling this bureaucracy? I think that our manifesto is a very good one, because we have established there the principle not only 1 in, 1 out, but 1 in and 2 out. That's first time ever. And nobody has done it. So only EPP is going ahead with this objective. And also, we are talking about reducing by 1/3 regulatory burden, which is very ambitious target, but very, very useful one. And last but not least, we are talking about so-called competitiveness check. So if we go ahead with some new EU policy, we have to have a look if it improves competitiveness or if it is against competitiveness. Talking about our initiative, so in terms of access to financial sources, we have to complete banking, capital union. We have on the table also late payment directive and some good initiatives. And last but not least, these skills. We have to talk particularly about digital skills, how to work with artificial intelligence and new techniques.
Denis Radke, inflation has come down, as I was saying before. There's still some concerns over, energy prices, food prices. But for your average person saying, well, look, job security, the labour market has sort of held up a lot better here than in places, other parts of the world. But when they're looking at job security and the types of jobs they want, what do you think can change that dynamic and give it a bit more spring?
I'm going to answer in German.
Bitte.
Ja, danke schön. Ja, wenn man sich die letzten 2 Jahre anguckt, Inflationskrise, Energiekrise, Lebensmittelpreise haben Sie angesprochen, an vielen Stellen dramatische Entwicklung. Und die soziale Krise, die wir an vielen Stellen sehen, im Übrigen besonders stark ausgeprägt in meinem Heimatland in Deutschland, ist mittlerweile keine Krise mehr, die sich auf die untersten 10% bezieht, die sich auf Menschen bezieht, die für Mindestlohn oder etwas mehr arbeiten, sondern diese soziale Krise ist mittlerweile tief in der Mittelschicht angekommen. Und um bei dem Beispiel Deutschland zu bleiben, da sieht man eben den Unterschied auch zwischen sozialistischen Regierungen und zwischen dem, wie wir uns als EVP Antworten auf diese Krise vorstellen. In Deutschland wurde sehr viel Geld mit der Gießkanne verteilt, mit dem Ergebnis, dass unter anderem 300 € Einmalzahlungen auch bei mir und meiner Frau zu Hause angekommen sind, wo man doch mit Recht die Frage stellen muss, in einer solchen Krise, in einer solchen Situation kann man doch nicht den Anspruch erheben, jedem etwas zukommen zu lassen, sondern das Geld, was man hat, muss man natürlich einsetzen, um Schwerpunkte zu setzen, um diejenigen zu unterstützen, die wirklich Unterstützung brauchen. Und da gehören Europaabgeordnete in der ersten Reihe nicht unbedingt dazu.
So that certainly answers the centre-right perspective on how to sort of rejig the job market. Obviously, this is in the forefront of people's minds when they go to the polls, isn't it? Would you say it's their top priority in the upcoming European parliamentary elections?
Wir haben ja bei den Wahlen in den Niederlanden gesehen, dass 2 Themen mit weitem Abstand diese Wahlen entschieden haben. Das eine war das Thema Migration und das andere war das Thema Cost of Living. Ja. Das waren die beiden Top-Themen in den Niederlanden. Und so diese Themen sind ja beide nicht weg. Ganz im Gegenteil, sondern auch wenn die Inflationsrate jetzt sinkt, das sagt ja nichts über das Preisniveau aus. Also die Preise steigen momentan weniger stark, aber wir sind ja nicht bei dem Preisniveau vor der Krise angekommen. Das heißt, die Situation im Geldbeutel vieler Menschen, die hart arbeiten und trotzdem kaum über die Runden kommen, ist nach wie vor katastrophal. Und deswegen wird das natürlich auch eins der Top-Themen sein, europaweit.
Yeah, migration and obviously the economy, as you're saying, sometimes second to that. Just quickly, I just want to pick up with you, Ivan. Obviously, you need a robust labour force, don't you? If you're a small to medium-sized enterprise, you need the right type of labour regulation if you're a small firm to make sure you're not swamped. But on the other hand, you need people, whether it's people coming to countries who are skilled migrants, you need them with the right skills, don't you? I know you addressed this earlier, but I just want to ask, how big a rethink do you think the labour market across parts of the EU needs to deal with the industrial revolution in AI?
This is really the challenge, and each country tries to tackle this challenge differently. Some of them, they try to solve it purely by migration, which is, from my perspective, only short-term solution. But our long-term right solution is to have a right family policy. We have to understand that also that more than 50% of small businesses, they are family businesses. So we have to support family, not only as the social, but as economical unit. And we have to support family businesses, which is the place where they teach not only for responsibility, but also for new skills. So I'm a believer in family and family businesses, and it can also tackle this issue. On top of that, I think we have to change our educational system to educate much more for entrepreneurship and more for skills for future. Because currently we have the situation that more people who are at schools, they will work in future in different professions than what for which they are prepared.
And a prestigious job now, you know, that might be, say, for the States.
Right.
In some countries, now that's a completely different dynamic, where you have experienced entrepreneurs in the media and on the international stage who are an icon young people can look up to, if they can get access to the capital, though.
If they have access to capital, so access to capital, of course, that's another challenge. We do not have still capital union. So therefore, that's the reason that many people, even with good ideas, they leave for US or even for Asia. We have to build and we have to finalize capital market. We have to simplify also banking loans, because our bankings are sometimes too careful and they refuse to finance many good ideas. And last but not least, we have to simplify also the access to the European sources, because we have to provide more capital and more European money for research and development. We are tracking behind in our R&D spendings in comparison with US and China. So we have to support much more research and development, and it's also very connected with digital skills and with skills generally.
Rozalia, BIRO, I was waiting to come to you last for a specific reason, because you were talking about family enterprises and the role of, you know, family businesses in this enormous network of small to medium-sized enterprises that underpins the European economy. But crucial to families is also recognizing that many women are working mothers as well. How, and full disclosure, I'm a working mother myself. I'm very aware of the acute pressures of childcare that's not always forthcoming in some countries. You know, cultural expectations are different. What policies do you think we need in the workplace across the EU, across all of the countries, that can engineer a system where we have more respect inside the workplace for women's roles, and also more economic, unlock that economic value added and intellectual capital that women bring?
Hello, it is a very interesting question and full of challenges. Of course, I'm here to represent the women organization point of view, and based on my experience, I will say that what we discuss inside of EPP Women is also these challenges what you mentioned. But based on the fact that the European People's Party manifesto, we see many points and principles regarding family policies, regarding supporting families, regarding good jobs, regarding equality between women and men. Based on this, and put near this the women vision regarding the equality in the labor market, I think that next year's will give results in this domain. First of all, we need very family-friendly policies and focus on the families. Because if we look at the figures, and I totally agree about what you said, that it is necessary to have an education which is more focused on entrepreneurship. In our days, around 30% of the enterprises are founded by female or led by women, and 70% by men. And a survey shows us that indeed the obstacles or the limits what the women feel when they want to start a business, they are maybe a little bit more pressure than for a man. And I think that
Why is that? Is that because they can't get access to capital? People don't believe in them. They don't believe in themselves.
First of all, it is the mentality. The mentality in which we find that if you are not home with your children, with your family, then maybe you are not a good mother. So this is one of the pressure. The second is the possibility to invest capital is a little bit better, a little bit harder for women than for men. In the other hand, that maybe we don't have enough self-confidence to say that, yes, I can do it this. But I will mention what Claudia Goldin, the Nobel Prize economist, said, that we will have indeed equality between women and men when inside of couple we will have equality. So if
the concept being that sexism can sometimes be in the home as much as the workplace, that's the point you're making? Please, Dennis.
Ja, ich würde bei dem Punkt gerne einsteigen, weil die Frage wirklich Vereinbarkeit von Familie und Beruf eine sehr zentrale Frage ist. Und deswegen haben wir als EVP unter anderem auch dieses Thema Care Strategy in dieser Periode sehr stark nach vorne geschoben. Die Kommissionspräsidentin hat den Ball ja auch aufgenommen, weil wenn man sich die Situation ansieht, in vielen europäischen Mitgliedstaaten, sowohl beim Thema Altenpflege als auch beim Thema Kinderbetreuung, haben wir gigantische Lücken, die einfach der Berufstätigkeit oder der Vollzeitberufstätigkeit von beiden Elternteilen an vielen Stellen entgegensteht. Und deswegen haben wir dieses Thema besetzt. Und zwar nicht, weil wir den Mitgliedstaaten die Kompetenzen dafür wegnehmen wollen, sondern weil die europäische Dimension beim Thema Pflege und Betreuung natürlich gigantisch ist. Wir haben unseren ehemaligen Gesundheitsminister hier aus Deutschland, Jens Spahn, der wird das bestätigen können in der Pflege. Das ist in Deutschland auch ein hocheuropäisches Thema. Die meisten Einrichtungen könnten wir schlicht und ergreifend schließen, ohne europäische Binnenmigration an der Stelle.
And Dennis, thank you. I really appreciate you making that point there, that we often talk about caring for children as though it's only a female responsibility, but it is a responsibility for both in couples. And Ivan, I just want to ask you just one final thought on what Rozalia was just saying there before about how, you know, we have this situation where, as I was saying before, it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation where women sometimes feel impeded from being ambitious in their careers because culturally they're kind of held back. What do you think that small to medium-sized enterprises can do themselves to be a bit more proactive to unlock the female intellectual capital in the workplace? Because let's face it, everywhere around the world, girls are doing better at university. Why should they be stymied by the fact that they're providing the next generation?
I think there are more aspects regarding answering this question. First one is education and kind of changing culture, mental setup that even women can be very successful and respected entrepreneurs. And we have many examples. So we need also to share such kind of good experiences and good practices where women are successful. Secondly, we need legislative framework in order to support women to be entrepreneurs. So it means that we need more, let's say, flexible labor code. We need also social infrastructure for that, for children. So, and also we need right tax policy for that in order to support also entrepreneurship and particularly to support women. I think situation is quite changing when I follow this issue, and I'm a big supporter for women to make businesses. Situation is changing, and we can see it in different fields of businesses, how they are successful. And my experience from my entrepreneurship is that the best company is that one with mixed, let's say, mixed employment, so not only man, not only female, but when they are together, everybody can bring respective own ideas, and at the end it works much better.
And I'm very glad that you said that, because it is an opportunity for us to remind everybody that President Ursula von der Leyen, in fact, created the first gender-neutral college of commissioners. I remember covering the press conference when that was unveiled and was delighted to see it. It's a huge step forward in terms of gender balancing the institutions and setting forth an example.
May I add one aspect that we didn't talk about it? Around 5 hours per day is the time what women use for day job in domestic work, to educate children, to care the elder member of the family, and so on. If we evaluated this work, then we can say that $7.7 trillion per year is the value of this work. We don't talk about this. Yeah. The example what you mentioned with Madam President, it was indeed a very good example to underline that it is possible, it is exist will, but the will is not enough to come from down to up. It's have to come from up to down.
That's a very good point. Thank you very much. Rozalia, BIRO, thank you for your points of view. Dennis RADTKE as well, and Ivan ŠTEFANEC. Thank you to our panelists for joining us on stage today.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Danke, vielen Dank. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.